American helicopter pushed into the sea to make room for more refugees during Operation Frequent Wind in Saigon, 1975. Treadmills were once invented as a punishment for criminals. Convicts climbed 15,000 meters, which was more exhausting than mine work. Survivors of the Japanese attack on an Australian Navy patrol ship during World War II. They built a raft and were spotted from the air, but due to a storm, they were unable to be rescued that day. They were never seen again. A drinking fountain for colored only, USA, 1940s. Racist residents beat and expel Black journalist Alex Wilson from their town. Little Rock, Arkansas, 1957. Marilyn Monroe detained for driving without a license, 1954. East German soldier helps a little boy sneak across the Berlin Wall, 1961. A woman cheerfully pours whiskey from her cane, 1922. For 13 years, the U.S. had prohibition, and alcohol was poured out of barrels and mugs during raids. But everyone wanted a drink, including this lady. When Stalin died, the Ukrainian diaspora restaurant in Washington served free borscht, March 9, 1953. Gangster Sylvan Skolnick is wheeled into the courthouse on a park bench loaded onto a mail cart, Philadelphia, USA, 1966. A Syrian girl in a refugee camp in Turkey. Mistaking the camera for a weapon, she raised her hands, 2012. An unemployed man sells ad space on his bald head for a sports magazine. Budapest, Hungary, 1939. In Puritan England in the 19th century, everything erotic was avoided. Even the legs of pianos were covered with cloths to prevent indecent thoughts. English language sign, "Here was Forge," installed at the ruins of the city of Forges-les-Eaux, almost completely destroyed during World War I, France, 1917. King Alexander I of Yugoslavia refused to participate in any public events on Tuesdays, as 3 members of his family died on that day of the week. Eventually, he decided to put an end to this silly superstition. On one Tuesday, he made an official visit to Marseille and was shot by a terrorist. A crowd of 300,000 gathered on Shanghai's waterfront to celebrate the new year. From the upper floors of a skyscraper, coupons resembling US dollars were thrown with the message "Happy 2015," causing a stampede. 36 dead, 49 injured, China 2014. A crowd tries to overturn a car with a black family during racial riots in the city of Clinton, USA, 1956. A hut made of mammoth bones found in Ukraine. The structure is about 15,000 years old. In 1950, the Guinness Book of Records named Klaus from San Francisco the fattest cat. At 8 years old, he weighed 40 pounds and had a 36-inch waist. The opening of the first Starbucks in 1971. Egyptians try Pepsi-Cola, Cairo, 1946. A sleep holder. In 1949, Dr. Ego Seeger from Vienna invented this device for railway travel. Photo of total solar eclipse on July 11, 1991, Chiapas, Mexico. French soldiers use a homemade trench catapult to throw grenades at German positions, 1915. The release of one of Microsoft's most iconic operating systems, Windows 95. This is a room full of participants in the 1980 Space Invaders World Championship. Testifying against the mob in open court, a high-stakes moment in the USA 1933. Ham the chimpanzee returns to Earth after a spaceflight, USA 1961. Residents of East Berlin show their children to their parents in West Berlin. A German soldier gives bread to a Russian orphan boy, 1942. This blonde, blue-eyed child was spared, but tragically another boy nearby, dark-haired and swarthy, was treated with brutal cruelty by the very same soldiers. A slave in restraints designed to prevent escape. The collar prevented the slave from squeezing through narrow openings, such as a window. The photograph shows a man examining nuclear lava, known as Chernobyl's elephant's foot. Being near it guaranteed death from radiation. Initially, Halloween lanterns were not made from pumpkins. In the 19th century, turnips were used for this, and such lanterns looked truly horrifying. When Americans discovered that Native American women considered it improper to have hair on any part of the body except the head, they reacted by calling the practice barbarism and ugliness. 12 Soviet snipers who shot 775 German soldiers during World War II, 1945. This case shocked France. In 1876, Blanche Monnier from Poitiers fell in love with a poor lawyer, but her mother opposed the marriage. After an argument, the girl disappeared. No one suspected that she was locked in an attic for 25 years by her mother. When the police arrived after a neighbor's report, Blanche weighed only 55 pounds. Dice made of human bones. Found during a search of the home of Ed Gein, American serial killer, necrophile, and body snatcher. He is one of the most notorious serial killers in U.S. history. Mysterious and controversial photo of the ape man found in the Amazon, 1937. Service at the Track restaurant in Los Angeles, 1950s. Food was delivered directly to cars via a conveyor belt. 11-year-old Grace Bedell from Westfield, New York, wrote to Lincoln, advising him to grow a beard to look more appealing and win a bet, which her brothers promised to vote for him if he did. The boldest necklines of the 1950s. A Ride on the Metro, 1990. A young man says goodbye to his grandmother as he leaves for war, circa 1917 World War I. Jacqueline Kennedy, in a blood-stained suit, watches Lyndon Johnson take the oath of office after the assassination of her husband, John F. Kennedy. USA, 1963. Panic swept the crowd during Liverpool's match against Nottingham in 1989. 96 people died and 766 were injured. To this day, it remains the worst disaster in football history. Leg prosthetics, a technology ahead of its time, year 1900, early advancements in biomechanical support. Poor Renaissance girls. Over time, it became fashionable to have absolutely no eyelashes. They were meticulously plucked, and it was closely monitored to ensure there were no hairs left on the eyelids. Gold prospectors climbed the Chilkoot Pass to reach the Klondike Goldfields, Alaska, 1898. Sailors of the Italian tall ship Amerigo Vespucci saying goodbye to their wives, Naples, 1963. The expression on your face when you win the jackpot. Australia, 1958. A policewoman removing 2 girls from the beach because of the improper appearance of their swimsuits, 1922, USA. A chilling moment frozen in time, just 2 seconds after the atomic bomb detonated over Nagasaki, Japan, 1945. Churchill poses at the entrance to Hitler's bunker sitting in his chair. The Chicago Plan of 1833, when the city had only 350 residents. A settlement of poor people in Central Park, New York, 1932. Installing antennas on the Twin Towers, 1979. Later, these antennas would prevent rescue aircraft from landing on the rooftops. This 1910 service vehicle was a revolutionary breakthrough for U.S. city infrastructure, replacing simple carts and ladders for maintaining streetlights. The contents of a Viking tool chest dropped over 1,000 years ago in Lake Mestermeyer on Gotland Island. The chest was recovered in 1936. Passers-by gather to watch. Hero Audie Murphy visit a barber, Texas, 1946. Posing in the style of the Headless Horseman, 1920s. In 1865, the ultra-right Ku Klux Klan organization was created in the U.S. A chastity nightgown for procreation, France, 17th century. The inscription translates as, "With God's help." Native Americans tear down the statue of Christopher Columbus, Mexico, 1994. Border guards of East Berlin increased the height of the Berlin Wall by adding barbed wire to prevent attempts by residents of the USSR to escape to Germany, 1961. Radium mask for treating facial cancer, 1920. Soviet soldiers harass a German woman, Germany, 1945. An Indian elephant used by German soldiers for the front, World War I, 1915. Police confronting Mike Tyson after he bit off part of Evander Holyfield's ear, 1996. A chimpanzee astronaut receives an apple after the first successful spaceflight, USA, 1961. Oil-rich Native American, Oklahoma, USA, 1920. The perfect plane crash, nobody died, United Kingdom, 1960. Photo of the Sphinx in the late 1800s, taken from a hot air balloon still partially buried in sand. In 1968, for the first time in history, a woman lit the Olympic flame. In the photo, Mexican runner Katy Basilio. Workers clear snow from the railroad tracks, Alaska, 1904. During Prohibition in the USA, bootleggers stole industrial alcohol and authorities decided to intentionally poison it. This federal program killed at least 10,000 people by 1933. The residents of Barina near the Christian school await the appearance of the Virgin Mary, whom a few kids supposedly saw there the day before. Belgium, 1933. An American destroyer escorts a Soviet freighter carrying missiles from Cuba after the Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962. A village paramedic with a patient, 29 years old at the time of the photo, Russian Empire. This 1959 photo captures the participants of the famous Dyatlov Pass expedition heading into the snowy mist. It is their last known photograph before the tragic events, which remain one of the most mysterious mysteries of the 20th century. A symbolic London photo from 1938, a family heads to the pool in swimsuits and gas masks, reflecting the tense anticipation of war and chemical attacks. March into the underworld. The German unit Freiwilligenlegion Nederland advances to the line of attack in the snows near Leningrad. 10 hours later, none of those captured in the photo were alive. Betty Page, a popular pin-up model of the 1950s, became fascinated with religion at the end of her career, which affected her mental health. In 1972, she was admitted to a psychiatric hospital after attacking her family with a knife, believing they did not pray hard enough. She was discharged several times but returned again. At 54, she attacked her neighbor, claiming that God sent her to kill. From then on, she remained in the hospital until 1992. Sophia Loren in an advertisement for marinated anchovies, USA, 1951. A pie-eating contest, 1937. A British Army infantry regiment before heading to war in 1914 and after its end in 1918. Hachiko at Shibuya Station, Tokyo, 1933. A teenager at the ruins of his home 4 days after Hurricane Camille passed through, Buras, USA, 1960s. Shell casings after shelling enemy positions, Vietnam, 1967. Creepy dental x-rays from the past. The medicine of the past could surprise you. Just look at this dental treatment. Loading a 5mm hard drive into a plane, 1956. This massive IBM unit weighed over a ton. Owen Baggett, the pilot who shot down an enemy plane with a pistol by shooting the pilot in the head while ejecting via parachute. In 1923, jockey Frank Hayes won a race at Belmont Park in New York despite being dead. He suffered a heart attack mid-race but remained in the saddle until the end. An American soldier reads a newspaper with news about Victory in Europe Day to German prisoners of war. New York, 1945. Taking out garbage from an apartment where two brothers collected about 130 tons of junk. One of the brothers tried to crawl to his paralyzed sibling but was buried by debris and died, while the other died of hunger. 1947. A man stops a tank with his body during the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia, 1968. In the late 1960s, Czechoslovakia sought to implement some democratic standards like freedom of speech and press. British soldiers load a 6-inch naval gun at Shornmead Fort, England, 1940. Drug lord and political figure Pablo Escobar in the Colombian Congress, 1982. The 39th U.S. President, Jimmy Carter, once sent his jacket to the dry cleaners, forgetting a cheat sheet with the nuclear launch codes in the pocket. Mike Tyson in glamorous pink handcuffs goes to prison for drug possession and drunk driving, 2008. Chernobyl disaster cleanup workers, 1986. Many of them later died from the effects of radiation. Did this make you laugh, cry, or feel frustrated? Let me know your reaction in the comment section. Make sure to watch out for the next episode. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Cheers.